Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. This is going to be a weird video. If you guys don't know what Task Force is, I'm going to give you a quick little sit rep. Task Force is a game that is trying to recapture the nostalgia of the SOCOM community. They're bringing back that third-person shooter that SOCOM was. And I have to say, for the most part, I'm actually a fan of what they were trying to do in the alpha. I thought it was actually a solid build, and I stand by what I said back in the day. The owner and the main developer is a guy named Redline, who has had a major history in this community of having mental breakdowns, shutting down the SOCOM source mod. If you guys remember that, it was SOCOM on the source engine with Counter-Strike, and then he took it, he shut that down, had a mental breakdown, flipped out, came back a little while later, started up the Resurgence mod on Insurgency, which was like the SOCOM Insurgency mod, and then he had a mental breakdown again, shut that shit down, and then he decided to start his own project up, and that basically became Task Force. And back in, I think it was 2017, they opened up a crowdfunding campaign on their website, so there was no like Kickstarter or anything like that. And basically you had a bunch of different tiers, you know, like bronze, silver, gold, whatever. I backed the game for, I believe it was $100. I became a gold backer, however much that was. And then I opted to buy a bunch of keys. I think I bought 5 more keys so that I could do giveaways once the game actually comes to fruition. And I wanted to support a SOCOM project. And we've been down this road before. You guys already know where this is going. This is where my channel started. H-Hour was one of those games that made $250,000 on Kickstarter, squandered all that money, and then came out with an absolute jack shit product. Task Force, I didn't want to go down that road, but unfortunately, the main developer and his group of little crony community managers are a bunch of fucking pussies. So the game was shown off and showcased in 2017, and around, I think it was 2018, somewhere around mid-2018, we hadn't heard a lot from Redline, we hadn't heard a lot from the dev team, they were really quiet. And I jump into a buddy's stream, American Riot, shout out to you, I was in his chat, and all of a sudden I see this Redline talking about, hey, I ran into some health issues. He didn't go into specifics as to what they were. He literally just said he had some health issues and he had to get it worked out, and development is taking a while because of that. I look over at their Discord at the time, people are roasting them, they're talking shit about the dev team, and I'm sitting here thinking, I have this information, let me screen cap this and put it over there real quick. Just to like defend them, just be like, hey, guys, like we're all human, let's just wait and see what happens. And turns out that was the worst thing I could have done, because Redline took it as a slight against him. I woke up the next day, the Discord had been absolutely nuked, everything deleted. There was an email sent out saying that they're not going to use Discord anymore. I personally knew that it was because of what I did or what they think my intention was, when in all actual fact, the one time you guys see Big Fry out here trying to defend a developer, and look at that, it just blows up in my fucking face. And this is why I don't give a shit about this project anymore, because it leads into, I go into American Riot's stream the other day and he's streaming Task Force. Now I haven't played the game in several months. Back then it was an alpha. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say it's trash. I was liking what they were doing, but the development just wasn't coming along. And all of a sudden I see him playing Task Force. I'm like, oh shit, let's have a look. And wouldn't you know it, you guys are seeing it on screen here. This looks a lot like SOCOM 2. And I'm looking around and I'm realizing that, yeah, these maps and the textures and the models and the character everything is a one-to-one copy, as if it was ripped straight from the PlayStation 2 disc itself. So keep that in mind, because we're gonna loop back to that, and this is the real root of the reason why I'm so pissed off. So I asked, like, how the fuck do you get access to it? All of a sudden I find out that you have to basically suck a dick through a glory hole, remember a secret password, and wait until somebody in a fucking trench coat comes by and tells you the birds fly west at dawn in order to get access to it. Basically what's happening is, in the workshop for Task Force, there's a bunch of secret files that are only set to friends, friend invite only. So nobody has access to it except for this one account called SOCOM Remastered, and the people that they decide to accept and add as friends, which I found fucking weird to begin with. and all of a sudden Riot has access to it, and I add the person as a friend, no response, nothing happens. And I'm asking the community managers, like, how the fuck do you get access to this stuff? And I'm asking them directly because I know in my heart of hearts that the person who is distributing these files and this workshop content is Redline. Because 4 years ago, I was in a Discord call with this dude, and he's telling me how he has a system and a program that can pull the files straight from SOCOM's disk and turn them into a source engine map for when he was making the mods with SOCOM source. Now, it's a mod at the time, so they didn't have to worry about any legalities. They weren't distributing it. They weren't making money on it. But when you look at Task Force, you're paying money. No vanilla servers are up. The only servers that are up right now are this stuff running these secret files that if you don't have them in the workshop, you can't fucking play. So literally, it's like a buy to play SOCOM 2 remastered content. And like I said, I know in my heart of hearts that it's fucking Redline doing it because I remember him showing me the program. He was talking about how hyped he was, about how he can do all this stuff and pull the stuff right from the disk, and he'll be able to make SOCOM maps one-to-one with the scaling and the textures and all that. All of a sudden, this is happening for Task Force, the same project that he's running. And so when we ask the community managers and they sit there and they play dumb on Twitter, and then when we're trying to get answers as to figure out what's going on, they're instead talking shit to other community members, literally roasting and showing screenshots of conversations with these community members from like 8 months ago. But you can look at the time on them and it says like, oh yeah, this one was posted 8 hours ago, but I know for a fact that the comments they're referencing was from a conversation like 3 or 4 months ago. So I know that they've been sitting on all of these screenshots of just random conversations with random community members. And they're just wasting their time talking shit on Twitter. So right before my live stream yesterday, I did a sponsored stream. It was really fun, giving away a bunch of keys for a game called Curse of the Dead Gods. I see this fucking community manager out here talking about how, oh yeah, man, the game's so fun, can't wait, blah, 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 just talking about all this stuff. And I just went out and put a tweet. I was like, yeah, it must be nice to play a game that you actually paid for, right? Or have access. It must be nice to have access to a game you paid for, right? And that's all I said. He responded to me, and then he got into a heated argument with Abel Green and other community members as I'm streaming. I left it at that. Just a little one-off comment. I come back. Abel's game gets deleted from Steam, and they hit him up with an email saying, yeah, just based on our records, we realized that you paid $20 instead of $25 back in the day. So we're revoking that key from you. So Abel essentially gave him 20 bucks for nothing. Now me, they didn't revoke anything from me, thank fuck, because that shit would be a no-go because of based on the amount of money that I gave these fucking losers. So they're out there, in my opinion, and this is me, again, I'm about 95% sure that Redline, the owner and main developer of Task Force, is out here ripping files from the PlayStation disc, making SOCOM remastered content and gatekeeping people out of it. So we can't even play the vanilla game because they don't have any servers up for that. They only have a server up to play this random hidden behind a fucking metal door ass fucking content that they're doing, and that they're the ones making it and distributing it. And then when we ask them, they play dumb, say, well, it's not our content. We don't know who it is, but it's just being distributed in certain, we can't do anything about it. When just based on the history and the conversations I've had with them, I'm pretty fucking sure it's them doing it. If you guys see this game on Steam whenever it launches, and I'm literally going on a campaign now. So you pissed me off, okay? We could have been cordial. I held my tongue before. When you cut ties, when you nuke the Discord, I held my tongue. But just like 3 weeks ago, one of their community managers reaches out to me via Twitter and wants me to kind of talk shit to somebody on the H-Hour team about when do we get our PS4 copies, blah, 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 talking shit about the Kickstarter. And then we get into a conversation where I tell him basically, hey, I'll go troll them if you ask Redline why he has such a fucking problem with me. And their response was, my suggestion would be humbleness. Regardless of your intention of posting that original screenshot of Red saying, you know, the health problems thing, you shouldn't have done it. You got to fall on the sword. And this is literally quoted. You guys are seeing the DMs. These guys think there's some sort of like mafia boss where you gotta kiss the fucking ring if you want to have access. And then they say, do you want to be friends with us or do you want to be media? Well, and I'm thinking, like, I was just trying to be fucking nice. Like, why can't we be both? No, you got to kiss the ring. You got to get down to the glory hole. You got to suck that dick. Just because they're the gatekeepers of this kind of content. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, if you ever see this game, if this game even launches, I imagine Redline is about to have a fucking full-blown meltdown over this shit and close everything up again. But if you guys ever see this game launch, don't fucking buy it. Stay the farthest fuck away from Tracer Interactive, Task Force, and whatever project they come out with in the future. These guys are the absolute worst when it comes to community engagement, community transparency, and community management. Their PR team are a bunch of amateur know-nothing motherfuckers, and the lead dev is so unstable that I actually don't see this game ever hitting beta, because I feel like eventually he's just gonna decide to fucking close the project down. But if you guys do see it, make sure that you never fucking buy anything that these people do. When I ask a simple question and it leads to getting blocked on Twitter, and when Abel asks some questions and gets a little aggressive because he's pissed off that this shit is happening, they revoke his access that they okayed 3 years ago. I remember Abel told me, they're like, yeah, give us $20 and we'll give you a key, don't worry about it. 3 years ago, and now they're using that against him because he asked why the fuck he can't play the game that he paid for. My name is BigFry, and honestly, guys, there's a lot of history with SOCOM and developers trying to pull one over on us, and I don't think people realize that this is where I started. My channel started talking about H-Hour and the fucking bullshit that those studio heads tried to pull. So right now, guys, we're coming full circle with a different dev team doing the same old shit. And guess what? A war with me now, it ain't the same fucking war that it was 5 years ago. I have a lot more knowledge of the industry. I have a lot more influence now. And I feel like you guys doing this consistently and just poking the bear while I've been remaining silent and watching you guys just treat your consumers like fucking dogs. It ain't happening again. You guys can go fuck yourselves. My name is BigFry, and I'll see you on the next one.